Well, it's the second week of LCS. I'm joined right now by Keith, and no longer McBrief, right?
No, I have matured into a fine young man.
Okay.
Now I'm just boring old Keith.
Okay. Keith what's it, like long, I guess? What's the opposite of brief?
Grief?
Grief? I don't know if that's the opposite of brief. Okay. It's just a word that rhymes. Either way, let's talk a little bit about your win against FlyQuest, ruining, like, you just derailed this hype train that was around them. How does that feel?
I think definitely feels good to defeat the undefeated team for week 2. I didn't doubt that we could win, but I think it was definitely a hard series, so I'm glad we pulled out the win.
Yeah, I mean, especially going into that game 3, there's a moment where I looked over because I'm like watching both the games, and you guys are like neck and neck. It looks like this bloodbath. What was that game 3 like in particular?
Definitely, it felt like the game was pretty even all around. I think both teams made pretty punishing mistakes, and so we could, of course, a team looking back, you can win harder and not pick up a lot, right? And it'll not be a close game. But in LCS, it's different, I think. So it became like a really even match, and I think we just had better shot calling in the mid to late game, and that's why we won.
Very good. Now, I mean, you're saying you had better shot calling than the team that has High Lamb, shot calling legend. What do you think? How did that happen?
I think it's true that Hai is very good shot calling. He knows how to micromanage his team, and they play really well together. I think it's a mixture of them making a big mistake, and us knowing what to do and reacting well. So, I don't know. I also think Froggen is a really strong shot caller, so maybe he just outperformed Hai in that regard this time.
Yeah. Rivals in the mid lane, rivals in the shot calling. Now, I also want to talk to you a little bit about Moon's Eve, because I just interviewed him and we were kind of talking about that. I'd love to get your perspective on that somewhat unconventional pick in the jungle.
So Evelyn, I think they have been preparing it like a counter to Kha'Zix, and I definitely did not respect Evelyn in 2 games. I kind of gave free kills to Evelyn, and that's what made games much harder for 1 and 3. It's a champion that's not very popular, so we're unexperienced when it comes to playing against Evelyn, and that's kind of what led to us making not optimal decisions.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it threw us off, but it kind of did, but we still pulled through in the end.
I want to ask you a little bit about your change in interviewee style. I used to interview you and it was all about the memes. Now I feel like you're like a professional sports athlete at a press conference being like, yes, the Evelyn was not something we had prepared for, and I didn't respect it as much as I could. Where did the memes go, Keith?
Okay, well, back then I was some 17-year-old snotty brat who just only cared about memes, which is, look, in hindsight, it's stupid. I'd like to think that I definitely want to win a lot more than I used to, so there's not a lot of time for memes,
Okay.
although I still pull it out once in a while.
Yeah.
I think mostly it's just I want to win, so yeah.
So this is the serious phase, Keith.
Yeah, I'm serious.
What do you think? Because I'm really thinking about doing this. We'll see if I do it. But what do you think of the headline, Keith on taking a more professional attitude? Quote: "There's not a lot of time for memes." Do you think that would be a good one? Do you like that one?
You trying to ruin my reputation, Travis?
I'm not trying to ruin your reputation. I'm trying to instill, like the true representation of your reputation.
I'm still a memer, Travis.
Okay, deep down underneath.
Yes, but I just try harder.
Yeah. Do you take the Echo Fox jet home?
Yeah, we fly like 30 seconds to home.
Yeah. From the LCS, so you just like take off in the front parking lot?
Yeah, we just fly like 10 seconds home and we're good. We don't need to, why drive?
Is the airplane named Toucan 1?
You think you're funny, Travis?
Anything you want to say to the fans out there, Keith?
keep cheering Fox on. We're gonna win more.
Thank you so much for the interview, Keith. Always good to catch up with you. I don't know what that face is. You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things esports here at Yahoo Esports.